Okay, so we're gonna begin our lesson today. With today's lesson, as I mentioned before, we're gonna be working on using our cell phones, the devices that we have in our hands every day, to cover some of the topics that we are studying for our IBDP computer science class. Specifically, today we're gonna be concentrated on topic 1, on the system design basics. So, and more specifically even, so we're gonna be working on the topic 1.2.1, which refers to understanding and being able to define the terms hardware, software, peripheral, network, and human resources. These 5 being the most important components of the design of every system, as we have discussed before. So, as you might remember from our previous class, we were looking at the formal definitions for these terms, and we play around a little bit with those definitions, and we came up with these 5 key concepts for our own class. So we define hardware as anything within a computer that you can physically touch, all of the parts of the computer inside or outside that you actually can interact with, physically speaking. Software, we define it as the collection of programs and instructions that control the computer. Peripherals are the devices attached to the computer that allow you to interact with this environment, and we also define those as being input and output devices, and also storage devices as well. And network, we talk about network as being a group of computers connected together, and we make the clear distinction that network and internet is not the same thing. We talk about that, and so network refers to any group of 2 or more computers being connected and sharing resources, as the network that we have here in our classroom, for example. Not dependent of the fact that we have internet or not, we still have a network here. And human resources, and by human resources we mean the people, the human component of those who will be behind the computers operating them in any system that we design. So to continue with this process, as we discussed last class, what we will be doing is that we're going to be creating a project using the app that you guys downloaded on your cell phones, this app that is called Aurasma. So if you remember correctly, you were playing around last class, creating Aurasmas with different trigger pictures here in the classroom. I'm just going to show you briefly the video that we were playing with last class as an example of what are the kind of things that you can do with Aurasma. So if you remember correctly, what we were doing last class is that we have a printed picture, preferably, like this one over here on this example, this picture of the logo of the Despicable Me movie. And this picture is what we will call a trigger picture for our project. And this trigger picture, when observed through the lens of the Aurasma app, will display additional content. Like in this case, the little video of the minions laughing or doing whatever they're doing in front of this trigger picture. Remember as well that you can have one or more of these videos or links or pictures that will pop up when you scan your trigger picture, and each one of these things that will pop up are called layovers, and things that you're going to add with this app that uses augmented reality. So basically what we will be doing will be augmenting the reality being the paper, and we're augmenting it by being able to see more content when we see it through the lenses of this app. So this was the first example. You might remember this one. Okay, so you see this is scanning, and now there's an actual video playing. So when you see it directly, you only see the trigger picture, but when you see it through the cell phone, you see much more than that. So basically, if you remember correctly, what we were looking last class on the Aurasma Studio website, once you click on the Create a New Aura button on your website, you will find that there are basically three steps that you need to follow. And the first two ones are the most important ones, of course, is finding or uploading that trigger picture, that picture that we're going to be posting in our classroom. And then adding overlays, which are the ones that are going to pop up when we scan that trigger picture with our cell phones, okay? So what we're going to be doing today is explaining this slide. I'm going to keep it here for you guys to see it. Basically, you're going to be, each one of you in groups, you're going to be creating 3 Erasmus to represent 3 out of the 5 concepts, out of these 5 concepts that we're covering with this objective, okay? So I have prearranged the groups that you're going to be working with. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to let you choose which one of these three concepts you want to cover, so we can have several representations of what each one of these concepts are here around the classroom. Okay, so the first and most important steps will be that one, to select which ones are the 3 concepts that you would like to cover, so we can assign those. And then after that, I want you to find that appropriate trigger image that you're going to use for each one of those 3 Erasmus. Make sure to test that trigger picture. Remember, as we were doing last class, with your cell phone, you can scan the picture, and the Erasmus app will measure the quality of that picture and will tell you if the picture is appropriate or not as a trigger picture. And then I want you to simply send to print. So remember to search those pictures on your school computer so you can send to print from there. And the reason why we're printing this picture is because I want you to create the Erasmus using the trigger picture being a picture of your printed picture. And the reason for that is because that will ensure that when someone else scans this picture, they will get exactly the same result as the one that you're getting, okay? And we saw that last class when we were playing around with the app. After that, I want you to find 2 or more, minimum of 2, so it cannot be only 1, overlays that you're going to put over each one of your trigger pictures, okay? So what are the overlays? What is it that I'm looking for? So for example, if you choose the hardware term, then I will expect your trigger picture to be a representation of what hardware is. And then your overlays, one of the overlays must be that definition, the official definition that we have from this previous slide that we created together last class, okay? How you're going to do that? I want you to be creative about that. You can have a video of yourself speaking about the definition. You can have a slide that pops up when you scan it. You can have whatever you prefer to do. And then an additional one. You can have that being a link with additional information, a video explaining the concept, or any other thing that you can think of. After you find those 2 overlays, I want you to create the Erasmus. And at the end of the class, what I want you to do is to take that printed trigger picture that you have, and we're going to place that on the bulletin board that I have cleaned up for you guys in the back, together with the name of your, or with the term. So if you had hardware, you're going to take the sign for hardware and put your trigger picture below. So when people come around the classroom, they can scan your trigger pictures and see your Erasmus, okay? After that, the very, very, very important part of this activity is that we're going to use this project as part of your student portfolio for this year, for this unit. So I want you to complete a reflection form. So this part, this last step, this 7th step, it's of course an individual one. So after you finish, after you have posted your Erasmus, I want you to refer to the portfolio task reflection that we have been using for portfolios. And I want you to complete this individually. Remember that we answered these questions. These questions are guides for you on how to complete your own reflection. That should become a post in your blog, okay? So remember, you're not filling out a form. You are using these questions as guides for you to write a short essay on how you felt, or how your reflection on the activity that you did today, okay? So that's it. Let's get started.
Let's take a picture. Scan it again. 还是不想。我专门买一个呀 ，PS 那个。
Software.
Oh, cool.
Okay, alright, so now
So
I'm
first
supposed
you
to
have
film.
to capture the trigger image, you see? So whatever picture you take right now or load, you're gonna have to put your hand exactly in the same position later on.
He's dancing on my hand.
You have you have to dance along with him.
See that? You see that?
See that?
Actually, this is
See
three
that?
overlaps.
No.
Something useful here.
Can I actually go to that link if I click on that thing?
You can't. Sorry, you can't.
Can you fix that so I can?
Okay.
Well, now I know the limitations of going through the computer. And going and doing this. You only have one light, ready?
Look at that. Awesome. And I didn't actually see definition of the definition. Perfect. Thank you so much, Nina.